A vacationing family discovers that the entire town they're visiting is inhabited by goblins disguised as humans who plan to eat them. It's Troll 2. Welcome, class, to Ghoul School. Unfortunately, Stanley O. Banshee has sounded the first horn from the southern watchtower, signaling the approach of an unknown vessel. Not in a quarter century has such a signal been necessary, and he must make preparations for its arrival. So, please welcome your substitutes.
Hello everybody and welcome to another period at the Ghoul School. I am your first host, Brian, Sasquatch's nephew, Stork.
And I am your second host, Noland.
We can't do this twice in a row.
You said you were ready.
Vinoy. That's it. That's my name.
What's got you?
Take me away.
What's got you down this time?
Just go to Caroline.
Okay.
I did want to talk about it.
Okay.
Don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm sensing that.
I'm sorry.
Look,
If you insist, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Look, I'm sensing that he definitely doesn't want to talk about it. So, Carol, let's just carry on as if
terrible energy we have begun this.
Let's just carry on as if nothing is wrong. And Carol, you go ahead.
Well,
I want to talk about it.
Okay. I feel paralyzed. I can't speak.
Carol, it's your responsibility to continue on.
I am your final host, Caroline Cult Classic Knight.
Ooh. Okay, Nolan, what's got you down?
Jesus.
Just nothing has just move on to Brian.
I refuse to speak.
What movie are we watching?
Nolan, this bit isn't funny.
What movie are we watching?
Nolan, you can't drown us in sorrow right at the top.
And then just leave.
And then just
I'll
walk
cheer
out.
up right when we know the movie is.
All right,
No,
all right,
Nolan.
What the movie
all right.
is.
He wants to
Is
know.
it just because you didn't, think of a thing, so then you just sounded all sad, and then now you don't have an actual reason for the bit, and now we're just floundering about it?
hoping desperately that a solution to your bit hole will come along?
Yeah. Is that what happened?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like a yes.
Sounds like maybe. All right, Carol.
I want to know what the movie
Carol,
is.
what is-
I wanna
what
know
is
Alright,
the movie?
boys, I have gathered you today on this glorious day. I have not told either of you the movie that we will be laying our eyes upon, because I want to know, A, if you've ever seen it, B, if you've ever heard of it, and C, if neither of those, I wanted to make sure that you couldn't research this at all, because you have to watch it.
Okay.
So, boys, this week we will be watching Troll 2.
Okay.
I already know about Troll. I already know all about this. I've seen Troll 2.
You are Troll 2.
Yeah.
Brian, do you know anything about Troll 2?
Oh God! I mean, I know, starring the great Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake. They go on a magical quest.
Can't
with
stop
I think
the
you're thinking
Maguire
of
brothers,
Trolls
too.
2.
Then no, I have no idea what this is. I've
This
heard.
is Troll
I've-
Singular.
hey,
Wait.
Can't stop the feeling.
Wait a minute. I think I do know what this is.
Uh-huh.
Is
Well, let me give you a little
Okay.
bit of background to make sure that this is what you think it is.
if this is what I think it is, then it brings me great joy.
Brian, I think it is what
Yes.
you're thinking it is.
You guys have at least seen one clip from this movie, but just by being a person on the internet in the year of our Lord 2021, where this guy goes, "Oh my god!"
Yes! I'm finally going to
So-
find out what the context of that is.
My only qualm
Well-
with watching this movie is that we're not watching it together in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'll tell you, Brian, is there isn't a lot of context.
Yeah, there's no, yeah.
So, this movie has gained a cult following in bad movie circles because it is regarded as one of the best bad movies of all time.
Yeah.
Some consider it to be the best bad.
Yeah.
This is a big one. This is a big one.
This
There's
is
whole documentaries about this movie.
Yes. This is written and directed by an Italian director who did not speak great English. In fact, the only person on set that could speak to the American actors in coherent English was the costume designer. Despite this, the Italian director wanted every word to be read from the script verbatim.
Oh my god.
And it sounds like it went through Google Translate at least 5 times.
This is so exciting. This is the most excited I've ever been.
This movie was meant to be sort of like a Goonies spiritual successor and trying to like be that type of funny, scary adventure movie. But it ended up just being really terrible.
It also is a sequel.
Yeah. No, it's not. Here's the thing.
Well, there's the third one also.
So, Troll 1, or just the movie Troll,
Yeah.
was made 4 years prior by a different person, and the story is completely unrelated to Troll 2.
Is there any... That's fascinating. Is there any connective... Like, did they even...
Right.
Were they
I
even
say
allowed?
sequel,
Here's
but I
the-
meant really a name only.
Yeah, were they...
Here's what happened.
Okay.
They had made the movie, and it was called Goblin.
Okay.
Because you will notice there are, in fact, no trolls in this movie. There are only goblins.
Where there are no trolls, there are in fact goblins.
Oh my god.
But when they realized it was as terrible as it was, they started distributing it under the name Troll 2 just to see if people would buy it on accident thinking there was a sequel to the movie Troll that came out 4 years prior.
That is outstanding. Did it work at all?
Hardly. But it turned into people's favorite bad movie to watch. Here's a quote from the actor about watching it for the first time with his dad. He says, "We put the VHS in and we all sat around the TV, very excited to see me on the big screen. And 7 seconds in, my dad's jaw dropped and he said, 'Oh, Michael, this is a terrible movie.'"
7 seconds in. How bad are the opening credits?
The tags on Google that are like most popular searches with this are corny, bad acting, cringeworthy, plot holes, hilarious, awkward, unconvincing.
Unconvincing. That's a rough one to be a top search.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Unconvincing.
They're actually there's a movie called The Crawlers that in some countries is called Troll 3.
Oh
Yes.
my god, what?
There's another one.
But none of them have anything to do with each
Yeah,
other.
they're not related
The
really.
greatest trilogy in cinema history.
So I have a couple of reviews that I've pulled and the synopsis, but Brian, first I want to know what you think this movie's about.
Okay, so literally the single thing that I know about this film, besides being the second part in the most important trilogy I've ever heard of, is that there is a moment where a boy with glasses is watching some kind of terrible event take place, and he says the words, "They're eating her."
Oh my god.
He first
yeah, that
says,
one.
"They're
Yeah, he's
eating
got more,
her,"
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they're going to eat me. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So my assumption, generally speaking, must then be that there is a group that intends to eat not only her, but him as well.
Him as well.
But also him.
And there you go. That's the film.
Does it happen? We'll
Well,
find out.
I'll give you the synopsis, and then I've pulled some beautiful, beautiful reviews from Letterboxd that I would like to glaze over before we give our review. So, when young Joshua learns that he will be going on vacation with his family to a small town called Nilbog,
Okay.
he protests adamantly. He is warned by the spirit of his deceased grandfather that goblins populate the town.
Coming out swinging.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
His parents, Michael and Diana, dismiss his apprehensions, but soon learn to appreciate their son's warning. Guided by his grandfather's ghost, will Joshua and his family stand a chance in fighting off these evil beings? That's the synopsis. That's on Wikipedia.
That's
Question mark?
excellent. 10
Yeah.
out of 10. 10 of the
And
10
it's
synopsis.
listed under film series, Troll, which I think is hilarious.
Remember how Don't Look Under the Bed kicked your ass?
Yes.
Oh, this
This is gonna kick your ass even harder.
Oh,
so
my God.
much more.
I'm so excited
much more.
about it.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time, I think. So let me read you some of these reviews that I've pulled because they are a delight. James says, They tried so fucking hard. That's it.
They did. They did try. Someone did really
Half
work
of a
hard.
star.
You know, the thing that I honestly, it's like seeing someone give it half a star feels really unfair.
It's sad.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it's
All
also
right.
just the fact of it's more disappointment than anything else.
Another review from Dirk H.
Oh, we love that.
2.5 stars.
Oh, interesting. Okay, now that's interesting to me.
Yes.
That if you're
very
rating
specific.
Troll 2, it's gotta be like half a star or 5 stars.
Yeah.
Who
Right.
comes out of it in like mediocre?
I
like,
like-
You have
that-
to
that's
hear what
not a
Dirk has
thing.
to say, guys.
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Apparently, the most expensive coffee in the world is made from beans that were first eaten by a particular animal collected after they have passed it through its digestive tract. So essentially, it is the shit that tastes good, and it is expensive. I'm pretty sure that's what this film is.
Some guy sounds like a fucking nerd.
That was beautiful.
From our friend Taylor Williams. He says, "How am I supposed to rate a film like this? 5 stars."
He's right. That is the correct like. Reviews are opinions, but that is the right opinion.
Did someone like make him write a review? It's like, listen.
Yeah, I know.
He's
it's
like, I don't know.
You gotta
he had to
put in your
write
2
under
cents
penalty
on
of
this.
death.
Yeah. He's not gonna
And
get his commission
our-
unless.
Our last review from our dear friend Adam. Troll 2 is memorable, with forever unforgettable scenes and quotes. It is famous for being the worst films of all time. It is so bad, it's fucking awesome. The godfather of bad movies. However, Troll 2 features no trolls at all. They are actually goblins. Half a star.
Yeah, yeah.
I just love that he was like, this is the best bad movie of all time. And I loved it, but there were no trolls. So
Right.
half a star.
That's what I like about it is that he was like, yes, the movie didn't have any trolls. 0 stars.
Did you find a review?
I did find another review. Rushed but lifeless. Trolls World Tour feels like a grab bag of merchandising
No,
ideas.
wrong movie.
More trolls, more songs, less story, and that's what we should be talking about.
I agree with that. Troll 2 didn't have enough songs.
Anyway.
There is a dance scene in Troll 2 that I'm excited for you
There
guys
is.
to see.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's fucking amazing. Okay, I cannot wait any longer to watch this film. Spooky Dark
must
Spell.
dive in.
Begin our sacred journey to the film lands. Well, if there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that you better be careful not to have any friends who are boys, because Joshua's dad will cut your wee little nuts off and eat them. That's what he'll do. So you better just fucking watch out.
You know what I learned from this endeavor?
What did you learn from this film?
I learned that not to eat anything with food coloring in it. Or else I'll start sweating food coloring and then bleeding food coloring.
Yeah. Nolan, what did
No
you
one's
learn?
crying.
Correct.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's natural.
I'm just crying because there will never be a film greater than this one ever made.
This is my favorite movie.
There will be no more quality beyond this film.
It is a
We cannot
troubling
surpass it.
thing. It is a troubling thing to realize that your entire career is for naught because
Yeah.
you will
It's
never
useless.
achieve what
I'm
they
gonna
have
add a
achieved.
disclaimer here that we're gonna spoil the fuck out of Troll 2 probably.
There is no such thing.
Well, truly because there is no plot, but like there's some funny shit that
Yeah.
seeing it blind is really beautiful,
It was
and I
amazing.
recommend you go watch it. I found it on a sketchy website for free, so
Yeah. Speaking as a full-on
It's also
first-time
on HBO
viewer,
Max.
yeah. Speaking as a full-on first-time viewer who had only ever seen the oh my god bit.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! How is that the only bit that like made
I
it
know.
through?
So much
How
other
is that
stuff.
the only bit of this that made it
this
through to
movie.
me?
I don't even think
is
I don't even think it's the craziest moment. I mean, it's
No.
like
No,
it's
it's not
certainly
even clo-
ridiculous, but like
it's not even in the top 10 of
Yeah.
like the craziest shit that happens in
moment
this
for
film.
moment. This this video.
video.
Moment
No,
for
no, no,
moment.
you're right. This is not a movie.
Shut up.
This
It's
is
not
a
a
video.
film.
It is a video.
This collection of images and sounds.
I will say, moment for moment, this movie puts more effort in than anything I've ever seen.
This movie-
It
Oh, yeah.
fucking tries.
This movie puts the same amount of effort in as like a neuroscience like thesis. This
Yes.
is a ultimate effect of effort.
And no one is
my
trying
God.
harder, in my opinion, no one is trying harder than the actress that played Credence.
And
Oh
no
my
one was trying
God.
and no one was trying less than all of the other actors. Here's the
But
thing
seriously,
that's yeah,
I
no, go
think
ahead.
this movie, moment to moment, is more entertaining than some of my favorite movies.
That's fair.
I
That's
agree.
fair.
Like, I have
Yeah.
more fun watching this than I do watching most movies.
I think the thing that's really fascinating to me, just diving right into the actors.
Yes.
The thing that's most fascinating to me, because like you said before, like it's the thing of it's a script that was not written by someone who really speaks English, and and they had to be slavish to every word of the script.
Yeah, he
which-
literally said that you had to adhere to the dialogue, and if you said anything remotely different, even like an adverb change, you know, like, he would make you do it again.
Exactly. But that's only half the puzzle, because every one of these actors, who all seem like English is their native language, give the most insane line readings on
I know,
every
it's like
single
the most-
sentence.
For every line, it is the most like antithetical delivery of how you could say those words.
It's almost
it's like, pull up
as
a
if
script
yeah.
and think of how an alien would read that line, and that's the line reading they give.
It's almost as if like they started out with an entire cast of actors, and they started doing the film, and then like every time they would read a line, they'd just be like, "Oh well, certainly not this," and then they would be, and then the director would fire them, or they would walk off the set, and they'd have to just keep bringing in random people off the crew in the streets
Well, fun
until
fact,
eventually
this'll
they
be-
had this nothing cast of like.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, this will be a little telling. The actor that plays the dad is a dentist.
Of
Yeah.
course, he's a dentist.
He's a dentist now.
He looks like a dentist.
He does.
he
He,
looks
also
like-
looks like Aaron Eckhart a little bit.
Yeah. But he really, like, I don't know what that means that he looks like a dentist, but it feels true.
Yeah, he
yeah.
looks like the word dentist.
Yeah,
He's dentist shaped.
yeah, I agree with that. He's just
Okay,
a little
so
too
let me
angular.
let me just try to give some sort of structure to this godforsaken
sure,
mess
sure,
of a
sure.
movie.
Yeah.
So this movie throws you in fast.
Yeah,
You get
instantly.
the Metro Goldwyn Mayer lion roar, and then immediately you're in a forest and there's a guy running.
And the music.
It's
the music.
wild. The
It's the
music.
worst MIDI synths of the 80s, just like screeching at you the whole time.
Let me ask you a question. What movie do you think the composer was watching when they did the music?
At
Halloween
least
3.
at least three different movies.
I think they were watching. Personally, I think they were watching. Speed. That's what I think.
I think they were watching Blade Runner,
Speed
Footloose, and the animated Lord of the Rings.
All excellent points. Speed Racer is also an excellent point. They were
Ooh,
watching
Speed-
all
yes,
of
Speed
those.
Racer.
They were totally
They were watching
Speed
all
Racer.
of those on different screens at the same time, and
And Tron.
But the
and they were
original
wearing
Tron,
they were
not-
wearing 3D glasses, but none of the movies were in 3D.
Yeah. So, we open in a Princess Bride-esque callback.
It's incredibly.
Yes.
It's
It really
literally
is.
the Princess Bride.
of a grandpa telling this child with the most punchable face this story about goblins that would feed you something and then turn you into a goblin human vegetable hybrid, and then
Right.
they would eat you.
Yeah.
One more thing on the actors. They all actually sort of look like they could be, like, if they were actually good performers, they could be famous actors from the 80s.
Well, and
It's
I
true,
feel
yeah.
like they almost get there when there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
But the second there's
they?
dialogue, it's so wild
Well,
that it's
I
just
would-
like,
I would also say that the movie almost gets there in terms of being scary with some of the baseline ideas, like, for moments. Like,
Yes.
the idea of, like, someone taking a chainsaw to you, but you only feel it as a tickle because of something that they've done to you. Like, there's something there in
Yeah.
the deep core of it. There's something there in
I
the deep
think-
core.
This is a controversial opinion.
Yeah.
But I think that the design of the goblins, because again, they are goblins, not trolls. This is explicitly stated every 5 minutes.
Right. The word troll is never said.
I think the design of them is a little scary. Like, not necessarily scary to me as an adult, but if I was like 12 watching this, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a little spooky.
Here's my thought.
A little upsetting.
Here's my thought. You guys have Stockholm Syndrome.
No.
There is absolutely... You are talking insanity right now.
I'm just saying
What are you saying?
I'm saying that, like, if you just, like, took away the entire movie...
So if it was a different movie, it would be good.
There's one specific goblin...
If you just watched this movie, but instead of watching this movie, you took out the Blu-ray from your Blu-ray player and put in Halloween, it would be very scary.
Yeah.
Can we, speaking of the goblin designs, there's one goblin who...
I know what goblin you're talking about.
Fills my heart with pure joy.
He's so good.
Is it the hairy one?
It's the one
that's like...
It's the one with the eyes who's a rectangle. So it's for
He's
audio.
literally a rectangle man.
Yeah, for people watching the video, I'll have imagery of this beautiful boy. But for audio listeners, it's literally a rectangle with yellow eyes, big circular yellow eyes that are like bulged out of the head, where all of the other goblins have like indented like black eyes.
Yeah,
this
they're
one
like
goblin
receded back.
has big
eyes.
bulgy yellow eyes, and he's just like
I love him so much.
He seems very kind.
Literally at a certain, like, by the end of the film, I was watching it with Karen, and by the end of the film, we were cheering every time they showed a close-up of this goblin, because they do it so often. He's like, there are times where he's encroaching into shots that he's not supposed to be in, where he's just like,
That should be part of the drinking game, is drink every time that goblin is specifically featured on screen.
And I think it's a sign. I think it's a sign from the gods, but I think also a sign that the director, like, of what the director's frame of mind is for like what looks scary. I think it's that goblin is like a pH level like test that where it's like you're seeing
or it's his sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, or like this is what looks scary to him, and everything else kind of makes sense on that baseline.
Okay, so let me try to like divert us back onto the path of a semblance of sequence of events.
I mean, you can try.
You will fail.
Yeah. So, you know, he's being told a story by his grandfather, and then his mom comes in, and his grandfather's not there. Turns out his grandfather is dead, and he's hallucinating his dead grandpa telling him stories about goblins. So that's fun. And Holly's boyfriend comes in through the window and is an asshole, and she's like, I don't know.
Very predatory.
Also,
it doesn't matter.
This is when we're introduced to the vitally important subplot, which is that this boy must choose between his girlfriend and his boys.
Yeah, the boys.
But yeah,
homies. How could you choose against your own boys?
Yeah.
I know. I would never choose anyone over you boys.
Aww,
thank you.
You sure about that? I feel like you'd kick me to the road, like to the side of the road, pretty quickly.
I would not choose anyone over Brian.
Hey.
Okay.
That was mean, and I don't mean it. I hope you know that.
I half know that.
Aww.
You won't know until it's put into practice.
Yeah, until we're on an RV on the way to Nilbog.
Yeah. So, Holly's like, Elliot, you don't love me enough, and you should come to Nilbog with us. And he's like, fine, let's go.
Side note, can we talk about her for a minute, because she is terrifying in the sense of she just switches back and forth between.
She's crazy.
She's crazy. I didn't want to use the C word, but she's crazy.
She speaks like a monster. She like all of them speak like insane people, but these two together speak like it's like if
true psychopaths.
It's like if you translated Shakespeare 7 times and then like brought it back so the rhythm is the same, but none of the words make any sense.
Yeah, it's like putting Google Translate into iambic pentameter.
She also says some of the most fucked up shit on the planet. She's like, my dad's gonna cut your fucking balls off and feed them to you. Like, okay, what?
It's a lot. But the first time we meet her, she's like fucking benching some weights.
Of course.
Like a badass, but the
most
is, like,
frenetic scene of all of film history.
I will say there are 2 types of scenes in this movie. A scene that goes on for 3 minutes too long, and a scene that is exactly 3 seconds long that you're like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
Right. It was also the most 80s scene I think I may have ever seen. Yeah.
This movie takes place in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So.
Yeah.
Also, this film features, while we're talking about that scene, that frenetic scene, I think it's a good time to introduce the fact that this film includes the highest number of like distinct elements of copyrighted imagery that I have ever seen in my life. Mickey Mouse is here, Minnie Mouse is here, Batman is here, Superman is here, the Joker is here. They're all here.
If you also look at Joshua's room.
It's all over Josh's room.
It's like every single sports team there's ever been. He's got a poster for them.
He has a plush of the Tasmanian Devil, which I was very jealous of.
Yeah, I kind of want that.
It's cute. So she says to Elliot, like, hey, if you don't show up tomorrow to come with my family to fucking Nilbog, then it's over,
we're through.
Doofus.
And don't you dare bring your fucking boys.
Don't bring the boys. You have to come alone.
See, you'd think that Brian was exaggerating in terms of how angry she is when she's saying this, but that's about right on par. Might even be a little less.
It's literally like, if you bring your boys, I will castrate you.
She's mad but she's also not mad in like a shouty way. She's mad in the way that like Scar is mad at Simba. Like she's a seething Machiavellian rage.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's so disdainful of him. So cut to them in the car, and she's like really upset, and her parents are like, hey, like, why are you so upset? Stop being so upset. And she's like, well, he didn't show up. And the dad's like, well, of course he didn't show up. He made us an hour and a half late, you little asshole. And she's like, no, but he didn't show up. It makes me so sad. And then the mom says the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, yes. This is one of my favorites.
She turns to the son in the back seat, which it's a car with like 3 rows, and the daughter's in the middle row.
Unnecessary 3 rows.
Son is in the back row.
The son is relegated all the way to the back for no reason.
It's very funny. But she turns to him and says, Joshua, won't you sing that song that I love so much?
And that song that she loves so much.
It's row, row, row your boat.
Which they sing in the round poorly.
In the round. In
Wait,
the round,
can we
off
just
beat
reenact it?
and off key.
Can we just reenact it real quick? I'll start us off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Row, row, row your boat.
Row,
gently
row,
down the
row,
stream.
row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat. Merrily, gently down the merry stream. Row and row the merry boat.
Row, row, row your boat.
If that was hard to listen to, it's worse than the movie. So,
also, of course, the boys rented an RV and went together. Because that's what
sounds
you do.
like so much fun.
Elliot and his friends are all in an RV, like, all right, we're going to Nilbog, boys. Let's roll out.
Do they all sleep in one bed?
Absolutely.
100%.
Do they sleep in it naked together? Absolutely.
They definitely shower together, too.
100%.
Side note, can the 3 of us rent an RV together and after graduation drive to, like, Sleepy Hollow or some spooky place?
Of course.
Wait. Hold on. I have to Google if there's an actual place called Nilbog.
There can't be.
There's
literally
no chance.
If there is, we're driving there.
I bet there's one in Sweden.
Damn it.
No Nilbog?
It's all Troll 2 related results.
What if we found the town of Nilbog?
I'm
That's a good idea. Let's go incorporate a town.
Yeah, I mean, only 23 people live there. We're right there.
Brian, I believe it was 26.
I'm
26
so sorry.
people.
Dang it, there is no Nilbog.
That's
Let me
an
get on
opportunity.
maps.
So what we should do... No, that was in Google Maps. What we should do, though, is find an unclaimed territory and claim it as Nilbog.
This is what I've been saying. We need to found the town of Nilbog.
Yes. Okay.
Nilbog.
Sounds great.
Nilbog.
We're the collective mayor of Nilbog.
Yes.
Edgar Diablo.
Yeah. Edgar Diablo is the mayor of Nilbog.
Edgar Diablo is the founder of Nilbog, but we've run him out of house and home.
Of course. That's our plan. That's our eventual plan.
Don't listen to this, Edgar.
Well, I guess that means we had to bring Zion along with us.
Yeah, that's the series finale of Ghoul School.
For those that don't know, Zion is the wonderful voice actor.
Who's Zion?
Who's what? I've never heard that name before.
I know you guys know who.
We've never worked with a person named Zion before. We only work with Edgar Diablo.
Okay,
You're
fine.
insane. You must have bog sickness. Anyway.
Zion, if you're listening, I tried my hardest to credit you.
Zion, if you're listening, I tried my hardest not to credit you.
Zion, if you don't know, is our wonderful voice actor who does the intros.
He's incredible. Go pay him. Anyway,
You go pay him. We haven't said his last name, but you find him.
Yeah, you'll find him. There's just one of them. Anyway. Okay, so Joshua sees a hitchhiker on the side of the road that looks like his grandpa and makes everybody stop the car so that he can go talk to Grandpa. But then he snaps out of it, and turns out it's just a guy asking for a ride who is much dirtier than Grandpa.
And then they just don't talk to him and drive away.
Yeah, he says nothing. He's completely silent.
He's a hitchhiker, and they stop the car, and like the kid gets out, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, you're gonna give me a ride?" And then the kid just gets back in the car, and they drive away. After
standing there being like, "Grandpa Seth, why am I supposed to make them not go to Nilbog? Oh no!"
And this raises questions, because how does the supernatural element of this movie work if Grandpa can like kind of it's not like possession, but he just
yeah. Okay.
It's a Tony situation, in my opinion. Like he's shining with his grandpa almost.
But it's not.
It's more physical than that.
He's able to communicate with the sister. He's able to give the kid a Molotov cocktail and a real fire extinguisher.
That does happen.
And, like, the kid asks him, he's like, "Why do you only talk to me? Like, why can't you go and talk to my parents and tell them to get out of Nilbog?"
Because they don't believe me. They think I'm schizophrenic.
But the grandpa is like, "Well, they won't, they never listen to me. Your mom never listened to me. That's why you married that asshole of your dad." And the kid's like, "Well, I don't have time to unpack that, but I'm pretty sure that if a ghost of my grandfather appeared to these people and told them to get out of town, they'd probably listen."
Yeah. Well, easy ghost mistakes. So they settle down in Nilbog after they've exchanged houses with a different family, because it's like they were going to Nilbog to stay in their house, and the family from Nilbog was going to their house. It doesn't make any sense. We're just gonna move on.
It doesn't make sense, nor does it matter. We have to get to the important stuff.
So they get into the house, and there's all this food left out for them, and the dad's like, "Oh, that's on hospitality, you guys. They are so hospitable. It is so kind of them." And all the food's like got green food coloring in it, which is the mark of the goblin, I guess, in this movie.
And 60% of the film's budget.
Yes. This movie had a $65,000 budget, and I'm pretty sure that at least 60,000 of those dollars were spent on green food coloring, because I can't justify it going to anything else.
That's so many dollars.
It's so many dollars, but also...
Where did it all go?
Nobody got paid for that movie also.
Yeah.
So... they're all about to eat this food when fucking Grandpa Seth shows up again, and the kid's like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" And he's like, "I'm gonna freeze time. You have 30 seconds to figure out what the hell to do," which is actually 70 seconds that they're frozen, which I'm like, you just lied to me.
And the kid takes 69 of the seconds just walking around in a circle, looking at looking at them
like,
time.
Wow. What
Which
do
honestly,
I do?
Look, I mean, if you were that kid, that's and time just stopped for you, I feel like you'd have to take a minute. Like you have to be like,
but you can't take a minute. There's only 30 seconds, and also it's like the fate of your family is in your hands, dude. Get a move on.
There's only 30 seconds left, and he doesn't know what to do. So he makes a decision in the 1 second mark.
Guess what he does, guys? He pisses all over the food. He pees all over the food,
which is kind of like, it's a little bit of like, okay, interesting. It works, but interesting way to go about doing that. But okay, there certainly could have been an easier way.
You couldn't just destroy everything, knock it on the floor in the 70 seconds you had to interact with humanity. He
could have quicksilvered it.
Yeah,
it was
but
almost
he chose to pee.
It was almost like the film was just trying to set up a later line.
Also,
Yes.
these characters were these actors were so bad at being frozen. All of them were shaking.
They were shaking.
They were
so
shaking
bad.
so violently, and like the dad has a drink in his hand that's just like vibrating.
Just
As someone who
good.
shakes quite a bit, I'm a little bit offended.
Don't make them
Listen.
freeze.
don't. Yeah, like you wouldn't be playing the scene where you had to stay
How else
still.
is he gonna pee on command?
How else are we gonna make the boy piss?
So, the mom and the sister are cleaning everything up while dad is mad at little guy, and he says my favorite line in the whole movie. Who remembers it?
You can't piss on hospitality.
Thank you. It's everything to me.
Tightening my
really.
belt so I can't feel hunger pains.
Yes. It's really funny. It's genuinely very good.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, one
The
of
Legion
Elliot's
of Doom.
friends. One of Elliot's friends, the one with the glasses, leaves the camper and is like, alright, I'm gonna go do whatever the fuck. Sees a woman being chased by goblins.
And sprints after her. Football
Yes.
tackles her.
She's like, going, and he's like, where are you going? And like runs right after her, and she's like, I'm being chased by these monsters. And then he looks behind him, there's just like this wall of goblins, and he's like walking up to them and telling them to shut the fuck up, and like walks away from them, and then they throw a spear at him and pierce his shoulder.
He's so horny that he teleports.
Yes, everybody teleports in this movie. There's no sense of geography, just get used to it.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, these goblins in any fight are either taking the absolute longest time to make a move, not doing anything, or they're acting like they're doing something, but they're not doing something.
There are two things that take 1,000 years in this film. One is goblin action, and two is the physical act of eating food.
Yes.
Like, it takes
It's not.
like,
No. It's
20
not.
minutes.
It's not
to
eating
go from
food. It's preparing to eat food.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like, there's a bit. Okay, well, wait. Let's get through the most important moment in the movie according to pop culture.
Yes. Okay, so, Elliot's friend with the glasses and the girl run into an abandoned church or whatever to try to get away from the goblins. And there's this absolute wonder of a woman who's hiding in there. Her name is Credence. It's one of the only names I got. I love her so much.
She's great.
You have to look up pictures of her. She's a delight.
She is giving 1,000% to this
10,000%. She
She is
says she
giving
comes
far-
from Stonehenge, which, first of all, is not a place.
Stone ground.
She is stone ground. She is giving far too many percents in this film.
Yes. And she tells the two that, first of all, there is no hospital in Nilbog, get fucked. Second of all, we've learned to heal ourselves. This woman has the entire world's store of dry ice in this house laboratory church she's got
It is
going on.
Smoky.
And she brings them 2 mugs full of dry ice, and tells them to drink it and they will be healed. And the girl drinks it and she fucking turns into mush. And then the goblins come out and they eat her, and he says, oh, they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me too. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And that's a short version. The god part goes on for so long.
Yeah.
Also, she's the witch is really funny in this because like as this woman has just taken one tiny sip of her bog drink and she just like drops it and starts like screaming and like staggering up the steps. Like the guy's like, "What's happening to her?" And the witch is like, "Nothing. It's not important. Drink your bog juice."
And he's like, should I still drink it?
He's thinking about
He's
it.
thinking about it, but then he realizes he can't move, and she's like, "Stop talking."
Yeah.
It's very good. So he's like starting to turn into a plant or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
You could add "it doesn't matter" as a qualifier onto any sentence. having to
yeah,
do
Yeah,
with this.
I'm
you
looking
could.
at the notes. So one of Elliot's other friends like runs into town. There's a weird sheriff. He has to eat a green burger. It still doesn't matter. But there's a coalition of men in hats that stand there threateningly that I really like.
The Man in Hat Council.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do not
They're kind of
displease them.
hanging outside of this one drugstore, and I think it's their stomping grounds, and they're a secret gang of hat-wearing men.
There's also
So-
more than 26 people that live here.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's some that seem to teleport. Either that, or I have
No, they do. You're fine. They
40-year-old white woman with brown hair blindness, where 7 of them are the same woman.
Most of the men
yes.
and the women look exactly the same.
They are the
Okay.
same. They are clones. So Joshua and his dad show up at the drugstore. They're like trying to get food because there's no fucking food anywhere, and all the milk is all spoiled and gross. But they're like, be back in 20 minutes. There's a sermon. And then the dad's just like, we must wait and be patient, and just sits down and reads a book about cooking with vegetables.
The vegetable
Which they also
cookbook.
don't have. They give the explanation of we don't have any eggs or anything. We're vegetarians. It's like, okay, do you have vegetables?
Drink
Yeah.
some Nilbog milk.
And they zoom in on this vegetable cookbook for so long, and it's
like
not
it's a
important,
reveal.
and it never was.
It has biblical energy in the sense that it's just called the vegetable cookbook.
Yeah.
The vegetable.
Right.
cook-
It's
The only one.
The only one.
But tell us about the true reveal.
So, as our dear father is just reading a vegetable cookbook outside of a drugstore, as you do.
The dream.
Joey,
Joshua.
Jonathan, what the fuck,
Joshua.
Joshua. This movie hurt me. Joshua walks up to a car mirror and looks at the word Nilbog that's written on a street sign, and he realizes it's goblin spelled backwards.
The gravity.
It's goblin spelled backwards.
Loses his shit.
And then he just leaves. He just picks up his skateboard and leaves.
He skateboards to an abandoned, shed, market, warehouse place
Yeah.
where there's a sermon going on in a basement.
And why
course.
does he go there? Because the
Because
script
he's-
said so.
Yes, and also because he thinks that this is now the Goblin Kingdom because it's goblin spelled backwards.
Yeah.
So,
Which, of course it is. Of
Yeah.
course it's the Goblin Kingdom.
he's watching them do the sermon where they're like, meat is disgusting and we should never eat it. Plants are the only thing that will purify your intestines.
And here's my question. Do they ever have any sermons about anything else?
I don't know.
Because this seems like some basic first-year stuff for goblins.
It seems like stuff that they'd all already be in agreement about.
Part of the drinking game should be every time in this scene where somebody says ew or ugh, you take a drink.
Also, their entire concept of... So the goblin religion in this town is eating meat is against God.
And
Their
it
god,
makes
goblin god.
people stinky and gross.
So what we need to do is turn people into vegetables and
Yes.
then eat those. Do they not know
They're
there are-
goblins.
that there are vegetables?
Yeah.
That
I
you
mean,
can just have those?
But Grandpa at the beginning said that human vegetable hybrids taste the best to goblins.
Right, okay, that's fair.
Duh,
You know what?
Brian.
You're right, this movie is airtight. I'm sorry.
Tight as
Not
a
a
drum.
plot hole in sight.
This is the inception of 1980, 90, 73.
1990, but yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in the ceiling watching the sermon, and then his skateboard falls through the ceiling, which leads one of the citizens to grab him by the face.
Just right by the face.
It's so
And then he kind of shakes his face a little bit because everybody in this movie is constantly shaking.
It's also, it hangs on his hand holding his face just long enough
It's
for it to
there
be
for, like,
really
10
awkward.
seconds.
Yeah.
It's like this. The shot should end with just like and then just and then cut.
Also,
Yeah,
Joshua's scream is so abrupt and sharp and
honestly,
There's some great perfectly
it
cut
feels
screams.
like the cut between these two scenes, where it's you grab the face and then they cut to something else, was supposed to be a spot for a commercial in a TV movie.
Yeah.
So he's being forced by the townspeople to eat this ice cream, and they're like, we're gonna turn you to a little vegetable boy and eat you, little man. But then his dad shows up and is like, what the fuck, and takes him home.
And he's weirdly still not suspicious about anything.
Yeah, he's weirdly
once
chill
they get
about
back.
it.
So the family comes home and sees that the entire...
I'm so sorry. We've got to talk about our favorite line, which happens in this area, right? with the like
Say
the
it.
tie, the suit tie guy, where he goes.
Speak
he
the
says-
words.
He says, "We need some time for some things to happen."
Yes.
Which sounded directly like a story note.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It's just, we need some time for some things to happen.
Like, it's so perfectly horrible and delivered with such conviction
Yeah.
that you just
gumption.
you can't not love it.
The conviction of a man who will soon be burned alive.
And it's gonna be sick.
So the family gets back and sees that the whole fucking town is in their house singing and dancing and has food and cakes that are frosted with the words "eat up" and "enjoy," which are the most suspicious cakes.
And eat this cake right fucking now.
Yeah. I don't think if there was a cake that said "enjoy," I would not think it was poison, you know?
Yeah.
They're all said with like air quotes.
Eat up!
Enjoy.
So, the family's all super stoked about this, except for Joshua, who's like, they're all monsters, and he runs upstairs.
Oh, also the boyfriend chooses his girlfriend instead of
Yeah.
the boys.
He
Though there
gives
is
up on
only
the
one
boys.
boy. There is
Yeah,
only
so
one
it's
boy
just-
still
so
alive.
it's
There's
girlfriend
only one
over
boy
the
left.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah. One boy is less powerful than three. We all know this.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we should know that more than anyone, because
right. Me
alone
on
we
my
have
own?
no power.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
on my
but
own.
when we
I'm
form
useless.
into Voltron.
With our powers combined.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Boytron.
Anyway, so Joshua goes upstairs, and he sees Grandpa Seth in the mirror, and then there's a goblin hand, and then Grandpa Seth has an axe and chops off the goblin hand, which
Oh,
is
yeah, he
actually
does.
the crazy lady Credence's hand. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm starting to
Yes,
think
okay,
that
wait.
Grandpa's like omnipotent.
I think
Yeah,
Grandpa's
so-
God.
Yeah.
I think he's just incompetent. I think he's an incompetent god.
Yes.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
He's like a guardian angel that's, like, stupid.
Yeah, because like he can't figure out the layout of the house, and like he says goodbye forever like 4 or 5 times, and then
Yeah.
comes back.
Right.
Also, confirmed that Grandpa went to hell
Okay,
by
so
one of the goblins? But that's
Talk
later,
this-
but...
yeah, talk this. I think we're at the point where we can talk this through. Also, he gives the child a Molotov cocktail.
He does.
That's important.
He's like, here's a Molotov cocktail, here's a fire extinguisher, go nuts.
Yeah, he's radicalizing this child.
Yeah, and then like the sermon man grabs the Molotov cocktail and is like, you can't fucking do that, you're a kid.
Which is fair.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong about that.
And then he's like, I'm gonna send your grandpa back to hell.
Back
to hell,
to
which means
Back to hell.
But you know, Grandpa does give off like this guy is kind of
Hell
shitty.
vibes?
Like, yeah, he gives
Yeah.
off hell vibes to me.
this guy might either be a pedophile or he definitely did something in a war.
Okay, he
That
does
is a
have the
crime.
smile of a man who's got child problems, I will say.
Child
Take a
problem.
drink every time Grandpa's smile makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. Don't know. Why can't you talk to my parents? No, don't. I can only talk to you.
Oh no, Brian.
What? I said this earlier. I said it earlier.
Yeah.
That drinking
You didn't
game
wanna
that
hear
I was,
it.
there's a drinking game that said every time that Grandpa looks like a pedophile, take a drink.
I mean, yeah. So, anyway, this is when Credence fucking goes on public access television and lures the last boy left outside with her garter belt and cob of corn.
So we have to outline this in the purest possible wording. He's watching TV, this teenage boy, and he turns the channel, and it's a shot of the woods. And
Outside of the camper, like directly outside of the camper.
And a younger, well, I guess less monstery Credence
Which
walking.
she summoned the power of Valhalla to make herself young and
No,
Right.
she
beautiful.
touched the Stonehenge magic stone that gave her the pretty juice.
When she did that, I thought she was gaining like omnipotence or like lightning powers, but she was just like
She was just making
she was
herself
fixing her
hot.
teeth.
Like, yeah.
She was just taking a shower.
She's
so
doing
the
hot girl
image
shit.
the image is of her walking down this lonesome road in the woods, holding a single cob of corn.
Just one.
She walks directly up to the TV, and the guy's like, and she's like, would someone like to share this corn with me? And the guy's like, what kind of show is this? And she's like, this isn't a program.
I'm a real woman.
And the thing, she's not even like
Come
behaving
outside
like
and
it's.
see.
She's not even treating it like it's a phallic object. She's just treating it like
No.
it's a cob of corn, but sexual.
She is just holding
Like,
corn.
it's sexy that she's holding corn.
Right.
Come enjoy my sexual corn.
Before we talk about this next scene, I want to ask you guys, did you notice how much corn is in this movie? Because it's
There's a lot of corn.
There's a fair amount of corn.
There's a lot of
be
corn in
sure.
this movie. Drink every time you see a cob of corn.
You'll
I thought
die.
we'd see a cornfield because the dad kept being
There
like,
is a
we're coming...
cornfield.
Oh, there was? I missed the cornfield.
Yeah, I saw the cornfield.
Because the dad kept being like, we're going to go be farmers. And then there was
Yeah.
never a
For a
farm.
week.
Never a farm. There was never a farm.
There was a
was just
people
lying.
vegetable
corn
farm.
on every single dinner table that
Yeah.
ever, and there's a lot of them.
It's
So,
mostly corn and like cakes.
cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
The
delicious
two
combo.
food groups, cake and corn.
Cakes and creams. The two
Cakes
genders.
and creams.
So, this next scene, Credence seduces this boy, and he's like, I like popcorn. And she's like, well, we can make this popcorn. We only have to heat it up. And then puts it in her mouth and kisses him with it in her mouth. And then popcorn explodes everywhere. Like, it's coming from off screen.
Yeah, it's not the corn. The corn is not turning into
corn
popcorn.
is not turning into
popcorn.
popcorn.
Is flying into the van from outside.
There's a man behind the camera with a giant bag of popcorn that they got when the movie theater closed, just shaking it down on them.
Yeah. There's one other stellar element of this scene that is very important to me, and it's the fact that there is, like, the sexiest music you've ever heard playing for the entire time as she's seducing him and stuff. But then it stops abruptly, like, halfway through the seduction
Yep.
for no reason, but she continues to move as if there's music playing. Like, she's still, like, kind of, like, doing a slow dance thing.
It's honestly like they were like you were like there was an audience watching the movie, and then they realized in the middle of watching the movie that they were gonna get copyright claimed, and so they turned the music track off, and then that was the movie.
And
Yes.
it made us think, like, while we were watching it, it's like, so was there never music playing? Was she just dancing with this corn to complete dead silence
Yes.
until finally he said the words, I like popped corn?
I mean, I don't know
Yes.
about you, Brian. I don't know about you, but nothing gets me going like a corn on the cob and a lady dancing to nothing.
You guys want to know what happens after this popcorn scene?
Oh, yeah.
We cut to a seance.
As you do.
So all the townspeople have decided that they want to kill this family, but they're not going to kill them immediately. So the family goes back into the house, and Josh was like, "We need Uncle Seth," and then the big sister's like, "We need
Grandpa
to have
Seth.
What did I say? Uncle Seth?
Uncle.
He's not
One of them.
Uncle Seth.
Yeah, relative
Given-
Seth.
Given the title he deserves.
So,
Pedophile.
Go get pedophile Seth.
We need him. We need his we need his improvised explosives.
the worst superhero name ever.
Pedophile Seth.
So the big sister's like, should we hold a seance? Cut to them they have a table, they're all around the table, and on the table is like a cardboard circle with like a ton of candles just stuck to it.
A metric fuck ton of candles.
So many
everywhere.
candles. Like, where did they find these? Were
Took
these just in the
hours
house?
to light them.
Yeah. So, they're just like looking at it, and that's the seance. And then
This is the first time that the child says the only line he says from now on, which is concentrate,
concentrate
harder.
harder. Every
Which-
time he says concentrate, take a drink.
Yeah, the best way to make
will
someone
die.
concentrate is to shout concentrate. Also, once like the winds pick up and they're blowing the candles and the seance is working, the mom has what might actually be my favorite line in this movie, which is where she goes like it's something along the lines where she's just like, Dad? And it's like this moment of like, oh shit, that was oh right, it's your father.
Yes.
Your dead father.
My favorite part is during the scene, the mob of angry goblin people are still outside, and they're like, they haven't eaten the sandwiches yet because they threw a bag of sandwiches at the front door and said to eat them or else they'll have to kill them violently.
Eat
And the
him.
guy like
we'll
fires
have
his
to
gun
kill
like
you
3
violently.
times. Yeah, the guy fires his gun like 3 times because he's like, I want to let him know I'm still here. But then after that, they just keep standing there.
I don't like that
useless.
nothing's happening in that house.
They're useless at doing their job, which is killing humans and turning them into trees.
We'll give it 40 more minutes.
All right, so the last bit of this movie is so fast and so stupid. So they make contact with Grandpa Seth. He and Joshua, like, connect, and Joshua fucking passes out and disappears, and then the goblins invade the house and start attacking. Cut to Joshua's in Credence's place where the Stonehenge magic stone is, and Grandpa's there, and they're gonna touch the stone, and that's how they turn off the goblins, I guess.
Touch the stone.
Touch the stone. Touch the stone.
So they're touching the stone, and then Credence, like, screams, which teleports all of the goblins out of the house and into Credence's lair, where they're, like, attacking Joshua, but then he says, "Get off me," and they put him down.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, sorry.
At least they're
And then
respectful.
he eats a bologna sandwich, which makes him poisonous to goblins, I guess, and then they freak out.
Because he's got meat now.
Yeah.
And this is
Then he
also a
freaks
moment that I'm
out.
shocked it hasn't become a meme, where they're, like, approaching him and they're like, "What do you do now? You must be hungry." And then he's like, and then he, like, reaches into his backpack, "Double-decker bologna sandwich," and they're like, "Ah!"
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then he touches the stone and it destroys things, and then it's over and the car is pulling into their normal home driveway. Like, we just make a huge jump.
Oh, it's a jump.
And then
What happened to Popcorn Boy? He's not dead.
Popcorn Boy just had too much popcorn.
Yeah,
Because it cuts back to him and he's like, "No more popcorn."
He
He's
says
like
no
drowned
more.
in
The witch is
popcorn.
left.
So, they open the fridge and they're, like, trying to get Joshua to eat, and he's like, "No, I don't want to eat." And then turns out that the goblin food is in their house too, and then his mom dies and he
Because
screams.
of the Goblin Exchange Program.
Yes.
Right, even though they never left, even though the other family never actually went to their house.
No, they did.
Whatever.
They said we had car trouble, but we're gonna leave in
We're
the
gonna
morning.
go
That seemed like a
tomorrow.
very obvious line,
Yeah.
but I guess it wasn't. I guess they did have car trouble.
They're respectful. And they don't lie.
Joshua screams,
It's one
and
thing about goblins you gotta know.
That's one thing about
In-
goblins you gotta know.
honestly, in a beautiful callback to the French New Wave film The 400 Blows, it has this beautiful freeze frame on Joshua's screaming face as he watches his mother be eaten by goblins.
It really speaks to the absence of, like, the ability to have true youth in today's today's culture.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. Well,
So, boys,
This is the best movie I've ever seen.
good bad movie. So is it the
Good,
best,
bad
of,
movie.
best
Yeah.
of the worst of the worst, or guilty pleasure?
best of the worst.
Yeah, yes, right? I'm
Yeah.
suddenly very confused
I
about
would-
our own scale.
I would
It's
say best of the worst because I'm not guilty of how much I love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no guilt in my heart. This
I don't
day.
believe guilty pleasures are a real thing. I believe there's just pleasures and not pleasures.
Yeah.
That
You sound like Grandpa. Fuck, what was his name?
Don't
I just
Seth.
ejected it from my
Oh,
memory.
pedophile Seth.
It's not a good Seth. It's not a good Grandpa name.
It is. It's like your weird.
Worst of the worst. Worst of the worst. It's a bad
There
Grandpa
was not
name.
a single troll in this movie. Worst of the worst.
It's best
Drunk
of
out
the
of
worst.
five?
It's best of the worst, like through being worst of the worst.
Yes.
Yeah. Drunk out of 5, 5 out of 5.
5 out
10
of
out of
fucking
5.
Yeah.
10 out of
because
5.
you don't even have to be drunk for it to be an amazing time, but the experience will be even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, boys, I want us to round robin our rules for the Troll 2 Ghoul School official drinking game.
Okay. Can we say that we each get 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the first thing. Don't drink if you're not over 21, dear listener. Just for,
Boo.
I don't want to get arrested from a
Boo.
podcast.
Disobey your parents. Disobey your parents.
And don't drink too much because you'll die.
Definitely
So-
do drink responsibly, though.
That being said, Brian, what's your first rule?
Me for every time
You're on the top of
Fuck
my
just happened
screen.
to you?
every time that the camera does a wild zoom in on a character's face before they say the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, take a drink.
Yes. Nolan?
Every time someone looks at food but doesn't eat it, take a drink.
For every minute that passes when the character is holding food without eating it.
Chug for the entire 70 seconds that time is frozen in that one scene.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
Every time that Grandpa Seth gives Joshua a task that should never be given to a child, like such as killing everyone in the house by
With a
burning
Molotov
it.
cocktail.
With a Molotov
Yes.
cocktail.
Yes.
Take 7 drinks.
No, too many. Just take a drink.
Every time Credence says something a little sexual, take a
Oh
drink.
God, every line.
Okay, and every time you see corn. Wait, no. Every time you see someone sweating green food coloring.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a
There
good
you
one.
go.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I got
also
one more
what-
thing. I got one more thing.
Okay, no, go.
So
go.
every time there's like one of the iconic lines, you have to finish your drink.
Okay.
Okay, mine's piggybacking off of that, which is every time that they are eating her and they might then eat you, take a drink.
Yeah. Okay. So
I say finish your drink on 3 quintessential lines. The oh my god. The we must have time for things to happen or whatever the fuck.
We have to wait for things to happen later.
Yes.
Yeah.
we need some time for some things to happen.
It's so good.
What's the third?
And just so you know, we'll type this up and we'll put it on the Instagram. We'll make sure that everyone has access to this.
And
to
then
this
double-decker
deeply
bologna
important.
sandwich.
Double-decker bologna
Finish your
sandwich,
drink.
Finish your
baby.
drink, baby.
Yeah.
So watch out for a bonus episode coming sometime this semester when Brian Nolan and I play this drinking game in real life.
That's great. If we ever do like commentary tracks, that should be the first one we do.
I agree,
With
yeah.
the drinking
I mean,
game.
yeah,
and play.
I think we just set up a microphone and go for it and see what happens.
All right. Thank you so much thank you so much, Carol, for bringing this into my life.
You're welcome.
Thank you, dear
and,
listener, for being here.
Yes, agreed.
Going on this dear journey with us.
Do you want to do the email and all that?
Yes, so follow us on Instagram at Ghoul School Pod. We post a lot of stuff on there. We post highlights on there. We also post highlights on our YouTube channel. We will
yeah.
upload 2 to 3 days a week. We have fully edited podcast episodes and the highlights, and they're good. Brian works hard on them.
See my favorite.
Oh my
See
god,
see
that
our favorite-
scared me.
See our favorite Goblin Boy in living color.
Yes, you have to
Oh,
see
he's
some
so
of this
sweet.
movie, please.
He's so sweet.
And send us an email, ghoulschoolofficial@gmail.com. You can,
Hell yeah.
let us know any recommendations you have. Let us know your thoughts on some of our episodes.
if you
Let us know.
ask us questions, we'll answer them on the air.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't forget to rate us on fucking Apple Podcasts or wherever you are on, because we're on all the places.
Just tell your friends that you've rated us.
Yes.
Don't give any more information. Just, we've been rated.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's that sound?
Is that the hell bell?
You can't call. Do you understand that I have to... Hold on. What's that sound going to be? Ah!
It seems another period is at an end, marking 1 hour since we first laid eyes upon that ghastly vessel, which, with each tick of the clock, draws ever nearer to our southern shore. Mr. O'Banshee stands ready at the southern dock, which, I have been informed, did not exist when the day began. So it seems we will be entertaining after all. Anyway, be sure to join us next week for another lesson in terror.